When Vanessa Colburn spotted the shaggy German shepherd limping through a gas station parking lot in rural Montana, she did what any animal lover would do. She opened her car door, called softly, and let him in. He smelled like dirt and cold rain. His fur was matted, and he had the saddest eyes she'd ever seen. But it wasn't until the next morning, when the vet ran a standard microchip scan, that Vanessa's world tilted sideways, because the chip was registered not just to her brother, Jesse Colburn, but flagged him as missing and presumed dead. Location: Thompson Falls, Montana. Population: 1,313. A quiet mountain town surrounded by dense pine forest, creaking cabins, and miles of gravel roads. Jesse Colburn had been missing for nearly 3 years. He was 27 when he disappeared. An Army veteran, Forest Service mechanic, and a bit of a loner, according to the people who knew him best. His sister Vanessa called him tough on the outside, marshmallow on the inside. He loved old country music, strong coffee, and his dog, Toby. That on a stormy October night in 2021, Jesse reportedly left his cabin to check something in the woods after hearing gunshots. He texted Vanessa at 9:47 p.m., "Might be poachers again. Gonna look around." He never came back. His car was still in the driveway. His tools were in the shed. Toby, the dog, was gone. No note, no sign of struggle. Just gone. Despite search parties, bloodhounds, and cadaver dogs, Jesse's trail evaporated after 300 yards into the forest. His case went cold. Everyone assumed he'd encountered a bear, or gotten lost and succumbed to the elements. It was late February 2024 when Vanessa, now living 2 towns over in Libby, Montana, saw the dog. She was pulling into a dimly lit truck stop just off Highway 2. Snow drizzled in sideways sheets. That's when the creature emerged from behind a dumpster, mud-covered, limping, but alert. She got out cautiously. "Hey, buddy." The dog froze, stared, then trotted over. She noticed the scarring on his back leg, the white patch on his chest. Her heart skipped. Toby, but it had to be impossible. Toby would be over 10 years old now, and he'd disappeared with Jesse. Still, she drove home with the dog curled on the passenger seat, silent and still. The next morning, she took him to Flathead Valley Veterinary Clinic. The tech ran a microchip scan as part of standard intake. 0.3 seconds later, she paled. "Ma'am, this dog is registered to a Jesse Colburn." Vanessa blinked. "That's my brother." The vet entered the room, confused. "Did you say Jesse Colburn?" "Yes." He nodded slowly. "We had an alert flag pop up with this scan. He's marked as a missing person." Within the hour, 2 plainclothes detectives from the Sanders County Sheriff's Office were sitting in Vanessa's living room. Notebooks open, coffee untouched. They asked her to retrace everything: where she'd found the dog, how he'd behaved, where he might have come from. Then one detective asked, carefully, "Did you notice anything on his fur? Anything unusual?" Vanessa frowned. "You mean like blood?" "No," he said, "like something written." At the sheriff's request, the vet sedated the dog and carefully trimmed his fur, especially the thick patch around his collar and back. There, stitched crudely into the collar lining, was a strip of cotton fabric with faded black ink, like someone had written with a pen or charcoal. That IT read. Under stones where moss grows, J 12:11. At first, they assumed it was a biblical reference, John 12, verse 11, but the verse didn't make sense in context. Vanessa disagreed. J stand for Jesse. 12:11. That's December 11th. His favorite hiking trail is called Moss Ridge. That was their first lead in years. Moss Ridge was remote, 20 miles from Jesse's cabin. The trail had been washed out the spring after his disappearance. Rangers hadn't maintained it in over 2 years, but they followed it anyway. Search and rescue, 9 units, and a team of forensic techs set out early the next morning. 0.3 miles in, Toby froze, ears perked. Then he bolted toward an overgrown outcrop of stones covered in damp moss. That's where they found it, a mound of rocks stacked by hand. Beneath them, wrapped in a torn army poncho, were a weathered backpack, a rusted pocket knife, a spiral notebook with a bullet hole through the cover, and beneath all that, a bone, specifically a human femur. The notebook was damp but mostly intact. The first few pages were lists, food, coordinates, dates. Then it shifted into panic. Paranoia. Short entries, scrawled and shaky. He's still out there. Try to call for help. No signal. Don't know if Toby will make it. December 11th. Heard voices again. Hiding under rocks. Think I know who it is. Can't believe it. Watching me. The last entry read, "If you find this, follow the water east." He buried her under the pine cross. That sentence flipped the case upside down, because no one was even sure there was a murder. Now, they had reason to believe Jesse had been hunted, and someone else was dead, buried in the woods. They spent 2 days searching the eastern banks of the creek, fanning out in grid formation. And then, just past an old fire-scarred tree, they saw it point two logs stacked in a crude X, leaned against a boulder. Beneath them, disturbed earth, they dug carefully and uncovered a second body, wrapped in a tarp. Dental records confirmed it. Rachel Lutz, 22, missing since August 2021 to she'd vanished after a music festival in Spokane. No one knew how she could have ended up over 200 miles away. Now, both disappearances were linked by one horrifying thread, and suspicion turned toward new name. Daniel Kroll, a local handyman, known to frequent bars around Thompson Falls. Ex-military, dishonorably discharged. Owned a remote shack less than 5 miles from Moss Ridge. His name showed up in a complaint Jesse had filed 2 weeks before he disappeared, about illegal traps and animal snares set near his property. The sheriff's office questioned Kroll when Jesse went missing, but with no body, no evidence, and no warrant, nothing stuck. Now, with a dead woman buried under logs and Jesse's journal hinting at a stalker, everything changed. A search warrant was issued. And what they found inside Kroll's cabin was like stepping into a serial killer's museum. The place was a nightmare. Dozens of ID cards nailed to the wall. Some missing people, a shoebox filled with photos. Hikers, campers, women sleeping in tents, a GPS device marked with coordinates all over the Montana wilderness. And in a locked chest, women's jewelry, used lighters, a bloody combat knife. Most chilling of all, a roll of duct tape labeled Toby. Collar copy. Kroll had made a duplicate collar for Jesse's dog. The implication? He'd been tracking Jesse, possibly using the dog to lure or confuse. Or worse, he let the dog live as a message. Kroll was arrested at a gas station 2 hours south, calmly eating beef jerky. In interviews, Kroll denied everything. But after 18 hours, he cracked. He admitted to finding Rachel and Jesse in the woods, but claimed it was self-defense. His story changed multiple times. He said Rachel came at him, that Jesse stole from his traps. But the forensic evidence told a different story. Rachel had been bound, then stabbed. Jesse had likely been shot from a distance. And the most damning part, Kroll had Jesse's dog tags in his freezer. In November 2024, Daniel Kroll was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. The trial rocked the community. Vanessa testified, holding Toby's leash the entire time. Prosecutors believe Kroll was responsible for at least 4 other disappearances, but no bodies were ever found AS for Toby. He's now a therapy dog for veterans dealing with PTSD. And Vanessa, she still walks the Moss Ridge Trail every December 11th. Jesse left a trail for me, she says. And Toby led me back to him. That's not just survival. That's love. To this day, no one knows how Toby survived nearly 3 years in the wild. Some say instinct. Others say divine intervention. But one thing is clear. He stayed close. He remembered. He waited. And when the time came, he brought Jesse home. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, shocked you, or made you think, let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, true, emotional, and full of twists, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. There's a new one coming soon, and trust me, you won't want to miss it.